right, this is what's interesting to us this morning. This segment is brought to you by Grand Prix Motorsports. If you're looking for the original motorcycle, talking about the Indian motorcycle, go check them out off of County Line Road and
Santa Fe.
All right. I want to take a look at the current reigning champs in most major sports. And I'm going to include college in this, okay? The San Antonio Spurs, the New England Patriots, let's see, the San Francisco Giants, UConn Women's Huskies, Duke Blue Devils, and the Ohio State Buckeyes. What do all those teams have in common?
Great coaches. Great coaches who have done it repeatedly. Great coaches whose teams they never need to rebuild. They're always consistent. There's a reason why, these programs and these coaches have had success everywhere they're going, because they're great coaches. So as much as we like to talk about players and how much a difference players make, I think coaches often get the short end of the stick. And this topic illustrates that. There's a reason why the Spurs had those titles. The Patriots, Ohio State and Urban Meyer, Coach K, Gino Armina, because they are great coaches year in, year out. You can expect greatness from their teams.
We talked about this, I think it was on Monday, the Mount Rushmore of current coaches. And I find it interesting that maybe it's just a coincidence. And with all due respect to Gino Auriemma, we'll talk about men's sports here. We had on that list Bill Belichick, reigning champ. Popovich, reigning champ. Krzyzewski, reigning champ. Now, you can make an argument for Nick Saban, and I don't think anybody reasonably would disagree with you.
Right.
But Urban Meyer has now won 2 titles, and he wound up doing it with an Ohio State team that many felt shouldn't even be in the Final Four.
Well, we talked about, Rockies' lack of depth. They won it with their third-string quarterback,
right,
which is an amazing coaching feat in itself, plus everything else that he's done.
As far as players and coaches, because we're seeing this, in college sports, people will say, and rightfully so, that, it's all about the coaches because the players come and go. In pro sports, players come and go because of free agency, and I totally understand that. But in college sports, you always know you're going to have Krzyzewski. You always know that you're going to have a Patino someplace. Now it's, Louisville, where he's been for a long time. Izzo is always probably going to wind up being at Michigan State. Do coaches really get enough credit?
How are we judging credit? We talking about payment?
No.
All these guys get paid really well.
No, I am referring to, do they get enough credit for we won a title because, not because of him, but a big reason why. I think you and I talked about this maybe 3-4 weeks ago. Or maybe it wasn't. I think it was somebody else. I think it was Mike Kliss. And he was sitting in that chair. That's why I'm looking in this direction. This is this bad flashback. Okay? I said to him, if you sat down Mike Shanahan and John Elway and said, who was most responsible for back-to-back titles, either you or the guy sitting next to you, take Terrell Davis out of it, either you or the guy sitting next to you, who would you pick?
I'm picking Shanahan.
Huh?
I'm picking Shanahan.
Okay. Who would Shanahan pick?
Coaches are always going to deflect to the players.
I think Shanahan would...
Privately. Publicly, I think he would say the players. Privately, he would say, oh, yeah.
Shanahan would say himself. I don't think he would say Terrell Davis. I think Shanahan would say him. So I'm going to put Terrell Davis back in our pot.
Okay.
I think Elway would say Terrell Davis.
Not Shanahan.
No. I think Elway would say Terrell Davis. This is the reason why we won 2 Super Bowls.
To push back against that
and
point,
I could be way wrong.
Now, during the Shanahan era, which, I played against those teams all the time as a Seattle Seahawk.
So not the Steeler Mafia.
No, Seattle Seahawks, I don't know, they don't have a mafia back then. The Seattle Seahawks neighborhood gang, because we weren't very good. But we were in the same division as the Broncos. So that string of 1,000-yard rushers, Orlandis Gary, Reuben Drones.
Oh, yeah.
They were all part of that Shanahan system.
Right.
Those guys were not great backs. It was the system that Shanahan came up with that, Gary Kubiak coordinated, that Coach Gibbs, the offensive line coach, implemented that offensive line system. So it was that Shanahan-led system that made that offense and that team go. Not necessarily John Elway, not Terrell Davis. It was the system that allowed those guys to flourish. So Shanahan, I think, in my mind, more than Elway, more than Terrell Davis, deserves the credit for those 2 Super Bowl wins if we're going to rank the order of importance.
Fair point. Very fair point. That segment brought to you by Grand Prix Motorsports. If you're looking for the original motorcycle, talking about the Indian motorcycle, there is Heath to your right, because everyone says, who's Heath? That's Heath to your right, and Heath is sitting there with his 2015 Indian Chieftain.